Hello, everyone, and today another webinar about privacy. My name is Krete. I'm the CEO of GDPR Register, and today we're going to talk about privacy programs, how to go global, how to get it up and running, how to maintain it, and all the problems that needs fixing and solving along the way. So today I have Charles John and Marvin Thiele from Hager Group, who are GDPR Register's long-time clients. And Hager Group is also a global manufacturer on solutions and services regarding electrical installations. They have over 13,000 employees and 100 different countries where they are operating. So welcome both, Charles and Marvin.
Thanks, Heather. Thank you.
Maybe you can both introduce yourself, your background, what you specifically do in Hager Group. So maybe, Charles, you want to start?
Yes, I will begin. So hello, everyone, for all the DPOs and other privacy professionals here and people from Hager, I understood. So I am the data protection coordinator for the whole Hager Group throughout the world. I mean, like for every subsidiaries. And so I'm in charge of every GDPR privacy related topics, basically, to make it simple. And here is Martin, which is in my team.
Yes. So hello all. I'm Marvin. I'm a working student at Hager since around 1.5 years. Yes, and I'm supporting Charles with all data protection topics, and I'm also studying cybersecurity here in Germany.
Very nice. And today we're going to tackle all different topics about global privacy programs, as I mentioned. And along the way, dear readers, if you have questions, feel free to put them in the chat, in the questions box. We're happy to cover them as we progress towards the end of our webinar session. And yeah, let's kick it off. So maybe just to set the background, Charles, can you describe what it actually means working in an institution where it's like 13,000 employees and you have to manage privacy? How would you describe that situation?
I mean, it was all new for me because in my previous job, I was really focused on only the French market for retailers. So it was only very French or European at best. So in Hager, it was at the very beginning international. So because we were dealing with all kind of European markets and Asian markets and some also international markets. So it was a lot at the beginnings because the frameworks, legal frameworks are different. The expectations of the market are different, not only because of different legal requirements, but of different culture. And so every time you want to launch something that is global about privacy, it begins very strong and it can become really chaotic and ending nowhere at the end. So the only way really to just keep control is just to have at least a robust and simple, understandable governance with representatives in local subsidiaries at group level also. I mean, really, governance is not the sexiest things about privacy, really. I mean, like, I'm much more into legal stuff. This is what passions me. But if you don't have this governance, you will go nowhere and really waste a lot of time and energy. So I would say governance is key.
Okay. Marvin, you mentioned you joined Hager a year and a half ago. How has it been for you? Is it structural? Is it chaotic, as Charles mentioned?
Yes, so I think it depends really. With that amount of employees, it can be chaos. But with the network we are now creating with the GDPR representative, I think it's more a structured way because you have really selected people who are doing their job. And in case you have questions for different entities, for different functions, you can just go to them and they're supporting us in our daily business, I would say.
Yes, at least we don't have to waste time to just know who we should go to when we have a topic. At least we have already that step that is already done. Right now we have representatives.
Yes.
Yeah. But with such amount of employees located in different countries, like how do you keep them engaged? Because there's only like 2 of you here, but there's thousands of them. Like how do you keep them engaged? That they give you input, context, answer to your questions. Like how do you keep engagement?
I mean, like, it's still a challenge. I wouldn't say that I have the perfect solution, but first and foremost, we need special trainings for representative. I mean, like, they will not become specialists, but they have to be really well aware of all the GDPR and privacy requirements, or big principles at least. And then just my work is a work of coordination, so it's to organize work. So to make very clear what is expected from each person, and then it kind of working. But I mean, I do not expect all the time them to come to me with feedback at regular period. Most of the time, I am the driver, and so when I learn about something anywhere, then I raise the topic and I go to the relevant representatives. So basically, for me, it's really a question of organizing work and telling to everybody what it's one's task, basically.
Absolutely. Because Hager Group is also a group with a very long history. Do you also see that that people who have worked there longer have like their own ways of working, and they're not very like eager to come up with the change and different like aspects that you are proposing to level up like how different people and teams work together?
Actually, there is really big differences between different people, but I won't say that the age or the experience in the group is really something relevant here. I mean, like, I see some cultural gaps sometimes, but it's not the age and experience are really not relevant for me to expect somebody to be more or less engaged. So for me, no. I mean, like, experience and age are really not relevant here.
But what about nationality? Do you see like differences here? Because you are French and Marvin, you're German as well. Like maybe you want to comment on that as well.
Yeah, should I start or?
Oh, I mean, like, I can start. Yes, there is cultural differences, clearly. For example, I mean, like, the most striking example right now for me is Germany, because they are much more mature than other countries most of the times, and they have real expectations. I mean, my relationships with the German teams are really different, because it's just not me coming to them saying like, I want that, that is not good. Or here there's really feedback from me and from them. So it's a real good exchanges. So yes, here we have a real cultural gap, and Marvin will we have a testimony after, but yes. And for example, here right now we are recording from Biskastel in Germany, our German headquarters, because Germany is just not one market like the other. So yes, there is big cultural gap, especially the one that I have perceived from the very beginning when I just took over my job, was that in Germany it's a special market with specific needs and expectations.
Yes, but I think also communication is the key here. So if you set clear goals and communicate this with all the people, I think it works still very well. So I think it's sometimes, of course, there will be problems, but if you tell them what needs to be done and why, I think everybody is aware of this one, and then it's no problem.
Yes, and I think it's not a real surprise if there is DPO in the room that have some subsidiary in Germany. They know that the German market has really specific expectations and needs about privacy.
Absolutely, and I think it also comes down to like the cultural aspects, like because different countries have different history with how privacy has evolved and the rights and and the preconditions and how people perceive privacy as well. And now in the age of technology, how this all sets into the picture. So how they are eager to accept change and new tools and new ways of working, and because the only constant in life is change, apparently. So yeah.
So for Hager, actually, I would say that people are really not reluctant to have new processes or new tools. Actually, they are just already happy when there is any process, because it's always better than having nothing and being in chaos. So people are really not reluctant to adopt new process and new tools, but as you could expect, and that's normal, they want clarity. So how to use the tool, what are the expectations and the tasks. So you have to make training and some awareness sessions. But I mean, like, that's completely fine. You cannot just deploy a new tool and say to people, just deal with it now on your own. But I would say that we did not have really so much problems to, for example, deploy or implement GDPR register. And even the process we design internally, people really engage with it. Just we need to make it maybe clearer and to be more present. But we didn't have to face like change reluctance on the privacy side, actually.
Okay, but when you look at different like challenges in building large privacy programs, what do you see are the biggest like challenges in that field? Like what have you experienced in your career?
I don't know if you want to.
Yes, so I think one issue we had in the past was focusing on IT applications, not on the robot itself. And then we recorded each application by itself in the system, but not each process, which was, of course, time consuming and was wrong in the past. But now we changed again. But I think this is something that we take with us, and we know that we shouldn't do this next time.
Yes, because we really engage with the work that was already done by IT architects, and which is really useful. I mean, like when you have an IT system that is really well mapped and you can rely on it, it makes life so much easier. But still, an IT application is not a personal data processing activity, so we cannot just copy paste what the IT architects have done, unfortunately. So we have to do our job on our own for documentation on processing activities.
Absolutely. When we started to prepare for this webinar and what we're going to talk about today, we had a call with you, Charles, several months ago, and something you mentioned was that motivation is a bigger challenge than the tools. Like how would you comment on that? Like, can you give us an example? Like how can people find ways of their day-to-day work to still contribute to privacy? Like how to keep this morale and motivation going, even though tools, but people actually will use the tools.
We have no silver bullet here. It's really just like make things as easier as possible for people, really, in every way. So basically, when I talked about work coordination, it's like make things clear, what's expected, what the task is about, what is the timeline, and availability. I mean, like each time representative has a question, at least I try to be present as soon as possible. I mean, like I try to do not wait like 1 week or more, like, and if possible to react like immediately when possible. So yes, it's like make the work clear about timeline, task, expectations, availability. Each time there is a problem with a tool or a question, react as soon as possible. And then do not hesitate to just say that a topic is finally closed. I mean, like to say like we are not perfect, we are not at the end of our compliance work, but at least on that topic, in that field, we closed the field. We closed the folder. I mean, like it's not perfect, but we have done what we can, and now we can say it's settled. maybe it will pop up at in 2 years or 3 years, but anyway, right now we can say it's settled for once, and we just go to another topic basically. For example, for the register work, I asked like dozens of my representatives to make documentation, but I put my expectations of accurateness and details about the processing activities not too high to make it possible. I mean, like I didn't want the work to last for three years. So I said I want that level of accurateness and details, and it's not a bad thing if it's not perfect the first time. I mean, like at least we'll have something set up, and we will work on it later on. But at least we can say that work at that stage it's over, it's closed, and we'll see what we do after.
Yeah, and it's a step-by-step progress. Absolutely. So
yes, and each step must be not celebrated, but each time you are over with a step, you must be able to be happy and say that it's over, we have done it, and that's behind us now.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you have employees, you have a motivation, you have employees. What about the management? Like, how have you gained management support and or maybe like a C-level sponsor to privacy initiative, like for example in Hager Group?
I would say like when I took over my job, we were not in a so good situation in the compliance field. So there was already a sense of emergency. I mean, like needs to be done because we were really almost starting from scratch. So at least this sense of emergency was all around the management. So far we didn't have to prove or to ask for everything. We have the support by default. So on that part, I mean, like I don't really have so much pieces of advice because I didn't like it from the beginning. We'll see how it will unfold in the future, but right now the feeling of emergency to do something for compliance is still here. So I just rely on it, and I hope it will last as long as possible.
Absolutely. Marvin, what about you? Do you also have like have sense like the urgency, emergency that you need to progress, you need to like finalize this project as well as you are like a younger privacy professional early in his career as well. Like, how do you sense it? Like, how it affects your work?
Yes, I think as Charles said, it's a quite urgent topic here in the company. So we have the full support, but I think it's not a project that you can finalize in 1 year and then close it and never do anything on it again. So we have to work like each month, each year we have to adapt something, and it's like always a work that needs to be done anytime.
Do you have like a longer timeline? Like, let's say year 2026 is coming. You also have like a plan, what needs to be achieved next time, how to take it down by quarters, half a year milestones. Have you already have that kind of structure in place as well?
Yes, I mean, like it's still not official, so that's why it's not really well known around the company. But yes, we have for each year a roadmap, and our roadmap for 2026 is not over yet, but still we have all the ideas for next year. And basically, it will probably like doing the same, but on another scope, because this year we completely focused on Europe and only Europe. So I didn't have any contact basically with teams that are not European. So we have teams in China or India or Australia, and I just never get in touch with them. And possibly all that work of documentation on personal data processing activities that we have done for European subsidiaries, we will just do as the same with our extra European subsidiaries. So it doesn't require a big effort of imagination to draw our roadmap 2026.
Yeah. And how do you prepare for new laws, new regulations, and as we've seen now, what's happening in the EU level as well with all data-related topics? How to prepare for the unknown, that things may change, but you don't know exactly how it's going to change.
Actually, we didn't really prepare right now for the digital omnibus.
Yes.
Because this is what is happening, and we have already succeeded to grapple with AI Act, which was already something. So actually, right now we are really just waiting to see what will happen with this digital omnibus. But anyway, whatever happened in Europe, I think that the trend is quite clear worldwide, that we are going towards more privacy regulations and more data protections worldwide. So anyway, next year will be much more focused on not European countries, so I will be much more into Indian, Chinese, and other Asian regulations, and also Middle Eastern regulations and American ones. So to be honest, we didn't really worry too much about this digital omnibus. We'll just see what it is about when it will be finally passed through European Parliament, and we will adapt. But anyway, like GDPR, we will have some times. I mean, like once it's passed, we'll have maybe at least, I hope, 6 months, or if possible 2 years, like GDPR, to adapt. So I'm not really worried about it. I mean, like it will be not like a fire emergency for 2026.
And absolutely, and what I see talking to fellow privacy professionals all over Europe is that a lot of people have this like panic mode, and they're starting like panically doing something, analyzing something. But one key fact is that we don't even know what is proposed currently is going to into effect. So we don't know. We don't know what the final text will be. We don't know the deadlines. We don't know the scope yet. So it's better is like to have like this, like observe what's happening. And if you need to start analyzing and working towards it, then you have like a deadline, but then you have to do this process. But in the end, I think there is still a lot to do regarding the central knowledge regarding data. What do you do with the data? Where is it going? How long are you keeping it? What do you do with the data? So, and this is the knowledge you will always need to know. It doesn't matter what regulation changes are coming. This is the core and the foundation, and this is what you can do like already now. So,
and just to reassure, like I just want to remember that I think we are still waiting for the new e-privacy directive, and it's like already 5-6 years we are waiting for it, and each year it was like we will have it next year, sure, and still waiting for it. So really, I don't think we need to worry about it. And if the digital omnibus is really about how to say it, like simplifying and weakening also the GDPR, then you just need to have a look to the Swiss law, because Swiss law is a kind of copy-paste of GDPR, but with a lot of mentions that have been deleted. So maybe you can have a look at Swiss law to see how it can become in all Europe, if it's really about weakening GDPR, this digital omnibus.
Absolutely. Yeah. And when you think about like privacy programs as its core, how to build it, like where to even start, what should be the first building block of such big framework?
Yes, so I think we need to have clear people, and we need to select, for example, for each department, for each entity, we need to have like a GDPR representative, and we know that they are doing their work. So it's that we have like a big overview of all the company of the Hager Group, and that we have like designated people who are doing their job, because otherwise it's very hard to keep track of everything. It's not possible for two people to fill out the ROPA by themselves. I think that's a good starting point for each big company to get the support from each entity, from each function, so that you have like a bigger team, I would say.
Yeah, and processes. I mean, like it's really not like the funniest part of GDPR compliance, but if you don't have it, that governance and that formal processes, you will come to it at some point because this is a pain point that will not go away if you don't solve it before. So really, it's the ground on which you have to build your compliance anyway.
But have you also experienced resistance? Like people just run away from you and say, "I don't want to hear anything about."
Oh, of course. I mean, like we have gone through every kind of situations because we have like maybe right now, I don't know, like maybe 40 representatives. So some of them just escaped very quickly after being introduced. And then we just come back and take another one. But basically, we did not choose them. I mean, like we go to the department or to the legal entity, and we ask to the local CEO or to the chief of the department to choose somebody that can fit the role and be relevant in that role. So we never choose anyone. We just ask for somebody, and the department or the local subsidiary name it basically, and we do with it. Our only requirement is that, of course, the person is quite motivated to do it and speak English to be able to understand everything in our company. That's all.
Yeah, and I think when these people are already all together and they help and support each other as well, and I think one aspect which may be overlooked sometimes is like it's not a burden or like a punishment for them, but it's also helping them in their own day-to-day work, and also can be a competitive advantage throughout their career. For example, in engineering, engineers already need to know how to build privacy by design, how to understand the data retention periods, like need to be embedded into the systems that they're building. So it's part of our everyday life. Either we are employees or we are everyday citizens, consumers, but we have an understanding what is done with our data. So because data is the new currency in nowadays life.
Yes. Maybe we are not the best place to answer because I don't know which kind of personal benefits representative can take from their role as GDPR representative. But anyway, there was some natural representative because either they are representative or not for GDPR stuff, we will have to work for it because of their real current role anyway. So they were kind of natural representative anyway. But for some others, they were really like the representative could have been them, but although somebody else. So they were not like natural representative. And just to highlight how it works here in Hager, because we have kind of specific structure, we have a GDPR representative at, I would say, the group level by department, like HR, sales and marketing, manufacturing, and so on. And we have also GDPR representatives at local level in legal entities throughout Europe and the world, basically. In the group department, it was kind of easy to have people because they were the people that we will work with anyway, representatives or not. But at local level, this is where we are faced. I mean, then we were the most disturbed because people were chosen, but it could have been somebody else. So we have some defections and some people to replace quite early. So yes, this is where we struggle a little bit.
Absolutely, and that privacy work also involves documentation. It's like the core of compliance. And we don't use pen and paper to document these things. We have different like tools that we can use. And how does tool usability or simplicity also influence motivation and the adoption of frameworks? So Marvin, maybe you want to comment that as well.
So, for example, the GDPR register, I think it's user-friendly and it's quite easy to fill out. And I think that's a very good point because if people are using it the first time and they see it's very complex, not user-friendly, they will just give up and they will not have any motivation at all. So I think it's also a key thing, because otherwise people will give up too fast and will not have like the motivation which they need to have, for example.
Yes, and I will also make the case, like, I mean, like, if you are a group in a group, or if you have a big companies with subsidiaries, you really need a tool anyway, whichever tools, because Excel files cannot deliver here, basically, and it's just impossible to manage if you have Excel files here and there in SharePoint or on local computers. So you will need to centralize it somewhere, so in a tool. And actually, the GDPR register, yes, we have really good feedback from our representatives that are not specialists in that field. And yes, we can be confident, because if there was any hurdles in the way to use it, they would have noticed it and make us notice it very quickly.
Because you will get the pressure inside. But Charles, you have like a personal experience as well, because you have worked in a company which use a very complex tool. So you can see like the difference. It's like easier to work. There is no pushback, and you can actually focus your time on work, not explaining how to use the tool and what the tool should do.
Yes, I mean, in my previous experience, it was completely different, because the tool was used only by the data protection team. I mean, like, it really was our tool. We don't share any access with anybody else. Nobody asked either, so because we don't make any publicity about it, and people were not aware of the register thing more broadly. So yes, it was a complete different situation. And the tool in itself was so heavy and not user-friendly, even for us. I mean, like, I spent a lot of time on that tool, and still it was complicated for me. Even simple stuff like the interface to use it was not really well designed. And so yes, it was really a pain point. I mean, like, even for our own privacy team. So, and just imagine if we have to sell it to the other team in marketing and HR, it would have been like, I mean, it wouldn't have worked. Basically, people would have just given up at the very start.
Right. That's what we hear as well. If people don't use it, like, why do we have it? And I think this is like when companies can really get it wrong if they start over complicating already complicated things, because privacy laws and laws generally speaking, people perceive it as a complex and hard to understand topic. And if a tools put an extra layer of like difficultness in top, it's like it's already like mind blowing. And I think it's like how to get people on board is also to show it is easy, it's simple. We're here to support you. You can do it quick and fast, and things are in one place. It also how to raise efficiency in their day-to-day work, as when we say like, hey, you can submit everything here, and then your job is done, and like the workflow, actually the tool supports the workflow and data collection. Because currently what I see in the market is you have documents all over different folders, different systems, mailboxes, different notes. Then people discuss something in meetings, when it's in the meeting notes. So you have like 10 different buckets to look through when you need to find some information snippet. But yeah. So and scaling that kind of a tooling. What's the winning formula? Do you start with different teams? Do you start with subsidiaries? Do you go live with different topics? Or is it like everyone needs to be trained and everyone starts to use that?
Okay, so we are going to go deep into how we work that year, basically, because it was all our main objective this year. So Our documentation work had two phases, I would say, two stages. The first one was with the GDPR representatives at the group level in department, HR, sales, marketing, manufacturing, so on. And they built a kind of common library of standard personal data processing activities. So in one register. And once it was done for all departments, then we shared it with all the GDPR representatives in local entities. Because actually, my GDPR representatives in department are not responsible for anything from a legal point of view. The ones that are responsible are the GDPR representative in the legal entities at local level, because they are the ones that have the real register. And so with that library, the local GDPR representative can go in that library and just pick up and import in the register the personal data processing activities that are relevant for their legal entities. And we really insist on them doing that, because at the end, it will be their legal entities and them, basically, that will be responsible and accountable for the register that they managed. So that's why, like, this common library that work from the department GDPR representative, it's just preparatory work to make life easy and work easy for the local GDPR representative and the legal entities. So I don't know if it's clear how we divide the work between our group headquarters people and the people in the legal entities throughout Europe.
Absolutely. Marvin, do you have anything to add? Any snippets?
Not at the moment. I think Charles explained our process very well. No.
I hope so. It was clear because
yeah. So and a huge part in building privacy program is also about trainings. And what works for one company may not work for other companies. And if you have dozens and dozens of subsidiaries, what's the winning formula or magic trick there? Like, how have you built your training routines, like general privacy, very specific privacy nuances? Like, how do you conduct trainings? Do micro learnings? Like, maybe you want to share a little bit of that as well.
Yes, so I think for the start we had multiple training sessions about the register with all the GDPR representatives, because at that moment they never used the tool before, so they didn't even know what it was, or most of them. So we did, I think, multiple training sessions where we explained everything. Why are we doing this? What they need to do, how long they have time. And it was, I would say, a detailed description about the tool and detailed step-by-step guide with presentations and also guidelines. So I think this was the first step about the training sessions. But of course, we are always providing support for them and doing I would say something like open hours where they come to us and ask us questions, because let's say they're working on it and now they have a problem. Who should they contact? Then the first contact, I would say, is me or Charles. And then we try to help them directly with the tool itself, or maybe they have questions about legal definitions, because of course we know that they're not legal experts. Yes, I would say that's really important. So at first the training, and then of course also the support, which is often even more important than the training itself.
Yeah. Do you also have like this general privacy trainings to talk about GDPR, local laws? Like, how have you set up that kind of training? Is it like slides, or is it interactive something, or?
Actually, we have kind of outsourced our general GDPR training, because, sorry, we go into details here, but we have the privacy team, data protection team of Hager, but we have also an external DPO that is he's both a legal counsel for privacy stuff and also a kind of auditor. So this is a kind of mixed role. And also this year it was our DPO that organized and performed all our GDPR training. And so we don't have so much to tell about it right now. Just the fact that we didn't really tackle the local regulations, because all our attendees were in European countries. I mean, like European Union countries. And even for people in the UK or in Switzerland, we didn't make any specifics about their national law. So actually, it's kind of things that we just let aside for the moment.
Absolutely, and of course, if there are like thousands and thousands of employees and there's only two of you, so that would be like also like quite a big like slice of work that would fall on you. And
oh yes, and I just mentioned the training were only for the representatives. For all the other employees, right now we could not manage to make training in person for each of them. So we have just a GDPR e-learning that every employee, when they take over their job, they just should do it in the first 3 months, I believe.
Yeah. So as we are approaching the end of our webinar, feel free to ask more questions from Charles and Marvin about their expertise, building programs, processes, day-to-day life of a privacy professional in a multinational global corporation. How do you measure progress, success in your privacy program? Like, is it a feeling or is it something that you can actually put your finger on and we can measure something? How have you?
I would like we can how to say, like, yes, I would like we can just have a feeling and it would be enough, but like but like everywhere we are chasing after KPIs, and right now actually we don't really have any, because for example for the registers, it was easy to measure if my GDPR representative in the department has done their work, because I set up the list of personal data processing activities to document with them. So I know exactly what I wanted at the end. It was crystal clear. But for the final work in local subsidiaries, I don't have any KPIs actually, because some of them start from scratch with nothing in the register. Some of them have very fine and good register with already very complete. So the registration from one local entity to another can completely differ. So I do not have any expectations. I know right now I have some experience in the company, so I expect in some register to have some personal data processing activities to be recorded, because I know that they're doing manufacturing or they're doing marketing. But if something is missing, I am potentially not able to spot it and to be aware about it. So right now, basically my KPIs will be just numbers, but brute numbers, and not percentages, because I won't be able to say on the 100% I expect I have only 70%, because I don't know what is a 100%. I am unable to determine it. So that's why I would say, like, for example, for one legal entities. So this year we have updated or added 7, 10, 20 new processing activities, and that will be all. But I won't be able to translate it in a percentage.
Makes sense.
Because at the end, the ones that know what is going on in the legal entities are the representatives themselves, and they know far better than me what is going on.
Absolutely. We have one question from the audience as well. Did your organization use some kind of application platform for GDPR purposes?
Do you want to answer?
Okay.
So I think for the GDPR register, I think it's there since I started and since Charles started. And I know from the past, people were using Excel files, which of course can be a complete mess if you have a large amount of employees and departments. So I don't think that we used something before, but I think we cannot say it for 100%.
Yes, and just we have also our kind of internal SharePoint to just receive requests from people inside the company if they want us to assess a topic from a GDPR point of view. And basically, that's all our IT tools.
Yes.
Yeah. How often do people come up to you that they want to introduce their new processing activity or a project they want to do? Like, how often does that end up in your table? Do they have an understanding that they have to come to you, or does it come naturally?
They come to us one way or another, for sure, but rarely the right way, because actually they come to us by emails or Teams messages quite commonly. And then we just tell them to go through that process in that SharePoint to make an official request for KPI's sakes, basically. But right now, let's say like we have a lack of communication so far, because since I took over my job, we didn't make a big communication telling we are the privacy team, this is our process, this is our tool for the register, and so on and so on. This is our DPO. And so people begin to know us as a data protection team, and they begin to ask for assessment and so on. But still, some part of the company, some teams are just unaware of us right now. But hopefully it will be changed by end of next year, when we'll have a big communication at that point. And then no more excuse not knowing us.
Yeah, and also one big hurdle for privacy professionals is also this shadow process, things they don't know. So if you don't know something, you can't be aware of it, so you can't like assess it. Like what's your advice on how to tackle that?
My philosophy is very clear. I'm not responsible of any personal data processing activities. So if a personal processing activity is hidden or in the shadow IT, then it's not my problem. It's the problem of the team that is managing it. And if there is any complaint problem happening one day, they will just have to justify their behavior. That's all. I mean, like, I have so much to do already with what I know that I won't care about the shadow IT right now.
And this like draws back to like responsibilities, like because I think that that has to be communicated within the organization. What is the DPO's responsibility? It's like you're not in charge how people do their work. It's like their responsibility. So, and who takes the risks? Who are the risk owners? Who makes the decisions? So when things go bad, they can't just point the finger like, oh, we had the DPO, they didn't say anything. So I think that's like the wrong way how things can turn up really, really, really badly.
For us, it's really clear also. I mean, like, we are responsible of nothing if something goes wrong with one personal data processing activities, unless we make an assessment and said that everything was okay, and actually it is not the case, then it will be our responsibility. But for all what is not assessed, it's not our responsibility. It's the team, the professional team that manages that responsibility. And also for the risk, when we have an assessment and we said, sorry, it's a no-go because actually it's totally not compliant, then my no-go is just a piece of advice, basically. So if you want to overread it, you can just write me, because of course I want an official track of it, a written track. But then, and I will just record it. I mean, like, I'm just advising. I'm not refusing to take risk or taking risk for somebody else. So at the end, our job is really a job of assistance.
Absolutely.
And if people don't want to come to us to have this assistance, this is also their choice. That's it.
Yeah, you can only control so much. So yeah. When we have to look into the future, and I think privacy professionals have this crystal ball where you have to predict a little bit of the future. which new trends or regulations do you think will impact privacy programs, global corporations the most? What to prepare for? And I would like your both input on this. So if you have this magical skill, like what should we all prepare for?
You can start if you want.
Difficult to say. I mean, like the trends that we can see right now, it's like data protection regulations are beginning to become worldwide. I mean, like almost every country has now privacy regulations. Not all countries, but most of them. And they will probably align on GDPR, but not entirely. So we have to be prepared to have differences between what we are used to in Europe for privacy regulations and what we can encounter outside Europe. And so we have to be ready to manage it, because actually it was much more, I would say it was easier in 2018 because GDPR was the first big regulations about privacy in the world. And so we just have to care about Europe, and the rest we just we could just let it aside and wait if anything happened. But it appeared like China, India, and other Asian countries mainly kind of I would say like reacted quite quickly to what happened in Europe and made their own privacy regulations. So I mean, for me, the trend is like you really have to think global about your data protection policies and positions, because it's not anymore just a European problem. So you cannot just think Europe-wide. And the other trend for me is like we have so much new European laws on digital stuff with DMA, AI Act. And so it will be a lot. And I mean, like we are already seeing it with the digital omnibus. At some point, maybe they will merge in one single stuff to make it more easily to handle and more consistent. So I think that this is the two trends for me. Like privacy is no more only European; it's a global trend right now. And in Europe specifically, we have a bunch of new laws about digital on the digital field, and we have to prepare for it and be able to, I don't know, like implement them in a smart way, because there is some overlapping here. And as GDPR was the first, we really need to rely and take advantage of all what has already been done for GDPR compliance to be compliant in the other field. Because I'm sure that for cybersecurity, in some months, maybe some years, maybe it will be mandatory to have a network of cybersecurity representatives, and maybe you can rely on your already existing GDPR network of representatives. That's just an example. So that's it for me, the two trends that are at work right now.
But as you said, I think also for us internally to raise the awareness, also for the people who are not that deep into the GDPR, and also if we also have more time, I think in the future to tell them why it's important and why are we doing this even, because a lot of people think we're doing this for fun maybe, but we are telling them no, it's like an obligation and we need to do it. I think that's also something that needs to be adapted in the future for us internally.
True. Final call for our audience to ask questions from Charles and Marvin. But maybe my final question would be, which I ask from all our webinar guests, is what's one thing you think that the listeners could take with them from today's discussion and they could implement already tomorrow? What's your advice?
Difficult to tell. I would say like to stay on the register topic. I would say like make sure that you have one tool to have all your register and that all your register are in that tool. Because what we discovered with Marvin when we set up our GDPR representatives network is that like some legal entities were not really made sure about GDPR, but still have some Excel files with some personal data, personal activities recorded inside. And they were just here for years and nobody cares about it. And so we have to import them, and it was a huge workload for us to do that. So yes, I mean, like one stuff that is good with a register and a tool that can host the register is then you can centralize your register, and then you can centralize your data protection policy. I mean, like at every level, because I mean, once you have this tool implemented with all your register inside, no legal entities can do can do anything without you knowing it. I mean, like when it's centralized, everything has to go to you to advise or to know how it works and what to do with the register. No more shadow register, no more shadow privacy policy. It's over. So for me, like the tool is not only the GDPR is not only to be compliant with GDPR, it's also a way to centralize the data protection topics and policies. So
Fixing,
maybe like
fixing the
be
foundation.
implemented as widely as possible and as broadly as possible, so that everything is inside.
Absolutely. Foundation is the core to every framework in privacy or any initiative. Marvin, what's your advice?
Yes, so I think it's not something you can implement tomorrow, but if you don't have like a big data protection team, then you should get help from the people in different departments who support you and in your daily data protection topics, I would say, because otherwise it's not that possible to cover all topics, and you will have each day you will get more work and you cannot do anything, and so I think get the help from different departments and from other people who will support you. I think yes, that's my advice.
Yes, and it was a big change in Hager because and before I took over, and even in my previous job, it was completely different because privacy and data protection were really specialist topic only for a specialist team of specialists, and other teams are not really to care about. And this is how I think before. I mean, like for me, the register was really my tool for me and the privacy team only. And I just like, for me, it was just not imaginable to just share access to the register to other people in other teams. I mean, like for me, it was like just not possible. And in Hager, I mean, like I don't really choose it, but this is how we have done things, because otherwise it would have been impossible to make up our register in such a fast way. But with now 8 months in the position, I see that it was really the good decision to empower people in the local legal entities with register, and to share the access with them, and to make them responsible of their own register, and not to just keep everything with us, because otherwise it would have been just impossible to do anything.
Yeah, and it's always very heartwarming to hear that how our clients are using our tool, and it's making their life easier, and people are happier, and it brings value to their day-to-day work. So that's why we are here for you, and always like you bring a lot of feedback back how to develop a product even better and better, and it's a cooperation. So always very, very happy, and happy that you were also willing to have this webinar today and share your insights. So big thank you.
No problem, and thank you for having us.
So this was all recorded. So the recording will be shared to our audience who wasn't here physically and virtually today. And we are having our last webinar of this year in 10th of December. another client of ours, Salv, is going to talk about fintech, privacy, how to navigate fintech regulations, privacy regulations, like a big mega mix of different rules and obstacles.
And how to invest in crypto, maybe.
Sure. And how to prepare for 2026. And as Charles already mentioned, a lot of big initiatives going on in Europe. What's going to happen with all of that? And we have a legal counsel from Salv, Diana Karjan, coming from Salv, and happy to have that discussion to finish the year on this note. So feel free to register in the pop-up, and have a lovely rest of the week and the end of November. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.